And we are without a form, so we will just have a general discussion meeting and take no action. So obviously I'm present and John Newbold is present. And that's our meeting today. So so let's begin. We have no minutes.
Can't vote on them anyway, so it's a good thing.
But I have a recommendation. Karen, you have recorded that you play back the minutes and then you write them. I might suggest that you take notes
I do that too.
and highlight, but pay attention to the actions. And then do the minutes from that.
I do.
Excuse me. And then circulate them among the committee for any comments we may have. And it may save you an hour of time or more listening to the recording.
Okay.
What do you think of that?
I actually do take notes during the meeting, and what it is on any action I have to do word for word. I have to do a verbatim on action, so I have to go back and listen to them anyway. Even if I try to verbate them while I'm taking notes.
Therefore, you might note the time of the meeting, when the actions were taken, and then you could speak forward instead of, and again, more efficiency for you.
Okay, I'll try that.
All right.
Sure, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, John, what's your update on the school?
Okay. I called Superintendency, Rick Surency, yesterday, telling him we had a Blue Ribbon Committee meeting today, and I'd like to have something to report. And we talked about some of the things that DJ and I had highlighted as needed. Among them was title work and surveys. And with that, he said, I'm going to refer you to Travis, our maintenance guy. Travis did call me, and he said he did have paperwork in his truck, and he would be in Crescent City today, and I should call him when this meeting is over, and we would meet. He has some copies of survey and a little bit on the title work. Let's see, I also called attention to Travis about, since we had a play at the auditorium on Saturday, and the bathrooms were not working. The women's bathroom was not working. The men's was, but there were some issues in the men's bathroom. So he said he would look into that today. And I told him, we asked him what the progress was on the cooler repair.
Sure, John.
He said, I was told to get a price on the cooler repair, and I have not been told to proceed with it. So I called Superintendent Surency back. It went to voicemail. He called last night after I was in bed. I did not get the call. And so I called him this morning and said to call me back. So that's where we are. I really think he will proceed with it. I'm working on that. So to me, it would be much more frugal to get the cooler going than to end up with mold in that building. And we have through November is the rainy season, so that's gonna be my approach. Okay, that's what I have. He's very sincere about moving forward with this. He wants the city to have the building, he and Mr. Bowling. So our next step is to proceed with the title search. And we're hoping the city will help us with that, and then we'll proceed rapidly with our story. The story is vital. And I think if we go with a plausible, understandable story, that Superintendency Search and Mr. Bowling will recommend it, and I think the board will accept it. That's, we don't know for sure, but that's my feeling. It's just, he has called a couple of people who would support us, and I have called them back, and that's all coming from the superintendent, so they're really sincere about this. So that's where we are.
Thank you, John. Charles, have we received any interest in the open position on the committee?
No, we haven't received any applications or calls, right?
I don't have none. And it's been on the website.
And then we have two.
Now we have 2 openings, so I'll go back in the website today and change it.
Some with real estate experience.
It's probably gonna take one-on-one contact, I would think, to encourage someone to.
I would encourage us to search out some people. And that's how we had the board got their.
Our initial, when this was brought up, that was our initial recommendation, so we should continue those efforts.
Yes.
I've got a few, of course, and remember, we're looking for someone originally that has a financial business background. That's vitally important, particularly, it's crucial at this time.
Yes.
Now that Barbara needs to attend to personal items, someone with her expertise is now needed as well. And as you just mentioned, BJ, her real estate background, professionalism has really been beneficial. It's proven in the appraisal report review that we received, which of course is excellent. And we all thank Barbara for fine work. Yes, BJ.
I don't have a copy of the appraisal, and the appraisal report, neither does the clerk, to put in the record. I guess,
I don't have a copy of it
Yeah.
either, because he asked me.
I asked her for one.
Sure, of course.
So if I can get it.
I'll be talking to Barbara later today. And
Do you have it, Dave?
I'll request that she send a copy to you for
Do you
distribution.
have it?
Yes, I have a copy of it.
Can I get it so I can scan it in and give it right back to you?
Well, I can send it to you,
Okay,
sure.
all right, sure.
But I need to call Barbara anyways, as BJ earlier,
Yeah, she needs to put it in writing.
she needs to submit her resignation in writing. And I think it's time that we ask Deere as well.
The city commission went ahead and declared that seat vacant. So Vera's been removed because she wasn't here. So that was one action that the city commission took last week. And they also extended our charter to the end of the year. Those 2 actions I asked for and did get action on that. I didn't get them to approve the ARPA survey or the money for spending the ARPA money on the historic resource survey. We actually delayed that and tabled it till 26th, next week, our special meeting. So,
And the title work as well.
and the title work, I asked for that and we really didn't even discuss that. So,
Is the title work, delayed until next week
yes,
as well? So we'll be on that agenda.
yes.
Okay. I did notice when I viewed the meeting that, when they went through the list of items that they may use the remaining funds for, they did list our requests. Anything else to report, from the commission meeting?
That is it.
Well, I got the impression that most of the board members were in favor.
Yeah, we just did not discuss, when I made my report at the beginning, I asked for those items and we were gonna discuss it when we got to the ARPA funding item. But we had so much on our agenda, we really didn't have a chance to discuss that, and that's why we tabled it. So that's where I was asking for the money for the title search as well. Unless, we have another line that we can ask for it from. We have professional services.
Well,
So we just delayed the entire discussion of that. We really didn't have time to discuss it fully. On the 26th, it's a much shorter agenda, I hope, right now. It's just the second reading of all of the ordinances and the budget. So we should have more time.
the other thing that I observed was that one commissioner questioned the feasibility, which was a good subject to bring up, which leads to the importance of us finding partnerships with this facility. It's going to be crucial to make it all work, particularly financially. And of course, to review our earlier discussions, it might be that we lease out the cafeteria to a restaurant operation. The other is the same with the theater to a production company, and the gymnasium for event space. The classrooms to perhaps St. John's in University in Palatka, and other organizations. That certainly. Pause for a moment.
I can't talk right now, John. Oh, yes, it is. I thought that I need Mr. Sir and see what his license.
Thank you, John. But those are important to put these ideas out there and to pursue them, which I'm working on. We all want to achieve the goal to not make this a financial burden, but a financial success. And so we'll pursue that. Obviously, one achievement is the review of the fine work that Barbara had done of the school's appraisal. So any further comment on those thoughts?
No, I don't have, well, all of those are good thoughts, and I think, our mission at the moment is to get our story going.
Yes.
We start that with the, title search. Then there'll be all kinds of opportunities. But there's all going to be some burdens. I mean, the upkeep, it's a big facility. City's gonna have expenses.
However, we can limit those expenses through these
With
partnerships.
income, yes.
Yes.
I agree.
Yeah, and having others responsible for much of the square footage.
Right.
Yeah. John, will you pursue the title search efforts?
Yes. I talked to Barbara, that's where we should go. And, if the city doesn't come through, we'll find some funds somewhere. but I think the city will approve it.
I'm sure. And your thoughts, BJ?
Yeah, I believe so. I mean, the majority of the commission believes in the project. I think we just had there was a lot on the agenda Thursday, and we had a lot of, the budget, and a lot of things that were kind of weighty. And I think that upon further discussion, we'll be able to justify it, so.
And of course, there's such a strong support of the community.
It'll be a good faith effort on our part, the city's part. A message to the districts, to the school board, that we are sincere.
Yeah.
The city is sincere.
Especially with the right work being approved. Okay, moving along, any update on grants? Have we spoke with our grant writers?
I didn't, reach out again to, and, Brett Fox responded, they weren't aware, other than the preservation grants that we're all familiar with, they weren't aware of any other, in their work history, they haven't been familiar with any other type of grant that would help.
Should we reach out to REG?
Oh, yeah, they probably work with the same kind of grants, the same, preservation, special category grants.
They have great experience, particularly the president, especially being the president of the Florida Historical.
And their report that they did for us on the Newman Lodge that they presented was very impressive. I mean, they did a very good job, which is the same kind of thing that we want done, that they gave us the proposal for the school.
Exactly,
So, I mean, that was very well done.
Very thorough.
Yeah. Although a lot of the history I did for them, but.
I too was at the Saturday's event at the school. And of course, with the plumbing not working, it brought up the question if the district has had any reviews of the mechanical systems or structural analysis of the buildings. Has that question been brought up, Joe?
We asked them for any written reports or anything that they had. I think because he has some plans for some of the newer buildings, the construction plans, like for the lunchroom and that stuff. But, I mean, I think we'll have to see what Travis has, because he said that he had some things, but not, the original buildings, none of that stuff do they have plans for. But we'll have to see what he has today.
Well, if issues come up regarding the building, I'm gonna talk to Travis this morning, and rather than go through the superintendent, I'll call him directly. I think it'll,
Faster.
if he's agreeable to that, I think he will be.
I found in my experience that asking specifically, such as in this case for any engineering studies, is helpful. So I might suggest that.
Okay.
And of course, my understanding is that one of the water lines had been accidentally cut, and that's why.
Do you know who cut it? Anybody?
Well, it was reported, Windstream was doing work and accidentally cut it.
Okay, who's responsible for repair?
Windstream.
Windstream would be.
Reliable.
Well, that needs to be pursued then, because
They cut it line.
And then the problem in the men's room, of course, which has water, is that the tankless toilet was running, but of course, when the water is shut off and then put back on, those tankless valves pick up sediment that's in the pipe. It just needs a quick fix. So I don't see that as a major issue.
yeah, that's.
And one of those things, the bathrooms are not being used, but very infrequently right now. So that also, it's at the end of the line and they'll get the sediment built up, that kind of gets shoved in there.
Exactly, yes, yeah.
It's just something that's gonna happen because no one's using those facilities.
It's to be expected, but again, it's an easy fix. And I will say the water pressure was fine. All right, anything else? Any public comment?
If I may,
Please, sir.
morning, Danny Miller. I'd like to make a few comments. There was conversation about reporting and that kind of thing. I would presume that if they retained them, they have commissioned in the relatively recent past environmental reports. Specifically, asbestos survey, there's been a lot of conversation about that. And that's something we might request. And also attended with construction of the media center and the new cafeteria. They perhaps got geotechnical reports, kind of earth studies, so they do core borings and that kind of thing. That would also be very, very helpful because of potential redevelopment of the north parcel. That's something that would be needed, and it'd give you an idea of the profile for purposes of retention or percolation, that kind of thing. So you might ask for those two reports. I'd like to talk next about a typical process on acquiring property. It would typically begin with a letter of intent. The parties agree on the basic bullet points of the deal. That would lead to a contract. That's the wordsmithing that the attorneys do to protect both parties. Now, as part of any contract, there would typically there would be a due diligence period. And that would be the opportunity for the buyer, grantee, to go in and check it out real good, which leads to lots of questions. And what about this? And what about that? So in that due diligence period, there would be ample opportunity to really drill down deep and figure out what the city would be acquiring. Okay. The last point I want to make is just a question. There was a mention of preservation grants. I don't want to bog the meeting down, but does everyone know just what the scope of a potential preservation grant might be and what the process for obtaining that is? If so, I'll find out offline. If not, perhaps the city manager might outline that for the committee so we know just what a preservation grant might possibly entail in terms of benefit to the city. That's all I have.
Charles, could you respond to that?
I've not looked at the application. I've done the small matching grant, but not a special category grant. So I'm not familiar with what's required. I do believe it's a matching grant, but I don't know what qualifies as a match.
It's up to $500,000, I think, right? Is the limit.
Hastings has got one in for $1 million.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
But it
I think it's up to
goes with the same cycle though as the small matching grants. Right. Because they work at the same time. So that usually means it's like, was it?
So next June,
Yeah, June 1st is when it closes or when they're due. And I mean, really, what would really help is that feasibility study or the historic resource report, because REG would give us something to go with. And that's what we did with Newman Lodge, was they did a preliminary sketch to help us apply for the grant that we applied for that.
They reviewed our grant application and made comments and then
It helped.
helped us submit, so.
So and having that report done really helped that, because it would give us.
And the head of REG serves on the committee that reviews the grant stuff.
That's true. Yeah.
If I may pose a follow-up question, please. So, I just want to make sure I understand. So we're unsure if those special category grant, was it called? We're unsure what the cap on that may be, and we're unsure of its applicability. So therefore, there's a possible win there.
Yeah, yeah, just have a look at it, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely would be applicable.
If I could, just throw a what if out. Imagine that, redevelopment of that property were to cost a sweat, $4 million. And matching funds were available. How might the city get $2 million to match? Well, if the city and the county offices would move down there, then this property, that property, that property, and perhaps that property becomes surplus. What's the value there? I'm just trying to suggest that's just one possible path forward, and that's without getting into the possibility of legislative appropriations and being a ready community. I think that would advantage us. So I'm just trying to encourage, not the committee, everyone's committed, perhaps the doubters in the community, to see that there is a potential path forward on this. Enough said, thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Mello. Yes, that's an excellent point. The capital would greatly support our efforts and make it doable.
Yes.
And another situation would be lead paint, particularly in a commercial building of that age, to be concerned about.
We asked about asbestos and the lead paint when we had a meeting, and they assured us that everything that had asbestos in it was removed or encapsulated, and I mean, obviously we'd have a study done, but I mean, because it was a public school, I mean, they had to have it.
Correct.
I mean, it's in the walls, if we drill into walls, but as long as it's left, it should be fine.
As long as it's not disturbed.
Right, they have abated or removed what needed to be removed as far as
Did they specifically comment on their work on lead paint?
No, that they did not. But the asbestos they did. So, I mean, we were assured that, I think it was in the roof of the auditorium, that's why there's a drop ceiling now. They have that same problem at the Overturf Center in Palaca. They have to do something there because there's asbestos, but it's in there, but it's encapsulated so that it's fine. I mean, I was given the impression that there should not be any worry about that because
That present building was built in the early 50s. I don't think lead paint was an issue in the early 50s. Prior to that, in the 1800s it was.
and
1974.
I was wondering.
1974? Yeah.
But it should be, without doing a check, I would say that everything that had to be removed has been because of the fact that it's used for school for so long. So I felt assured by the superintendent's answer that, the asbestos has been dealt with, that needed to be dealt with.
But I can ask about it.
Thank you, John. Anything else for discussion?
Oh, yeah.
Any further public comment? Do I have a motion to adjourn?
I do.
All those in favor, aye. Meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
It ends, right?
I was asking if